Hi guys, welcome to my channel. So today I want to sit down and talk to you guys about how to get out of art block and some of the things that I used to get out of my most recent art block, which lasted for a really long time. Honestly, it was easily over a year long. And so while I talk about that, I'm going to be showing you the process of this piece, which I just finished. I'm super excited about it. It was just a culmination of a lot of ideas that I had and that I was excited about after kind of like unblocking my creative flow, I guess. Like, I feel like I was a river and it was dammed, and I have unblocked it, undammed it, and all of a sudden these creative ideas are just like flowing out of me, and it's been great and it's been exciting, and I feel like I want to make more art now. So I'm gonna share with you guys 5 things that helped me get out of my art block. And before I jump into that, I just want to shout out a quick thank you to the sponsor of this video. The sponsor of this video is Skillshare, so thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. You guys know that I actually really do enjoy Skillshare. They've sponsored some of my videos in the past, and I always like working with them because I truly, genuinely do enjoy their website. It was very useful for me when I was learning motion graphics, and I liked it a lot. Skillshare is an online learning platform where you can learn about all different kinds of topics, from art to photography, watercolor drawing. There's social media stuff on there. There's all kinds of cool stuff on there. Like I said, I learned motion graphics from it. So I really do enjoy them and do recommend them. Skillshare is also pretty affordable, and to make it even more affordable, they are going to be providing the first 500 people to click the link down in my description box with a 2-month free trial to Skillshare. So if this sounds like something that you would be interested in, or you're finally thinking, hey, you know what, now I actually do want to try Skillshare after all this time, go ahead, click the link, give it a try, and yeah, that's pretty much it. So thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Let's talk about some art block. Alright, so let's talk about art block. I have been dealing for probably the last year, maybe even longer, year and a half, with some pretty annoying and kind of severe art block. It's not been art block to the point where I can't make art, but I've just felt really uninspired and really frustrated with a lot of the work that I've been completing over the last year, maybe even like year and a half. And I just was so frustrated with it. I wanted to make art, but I just felt so blocked up and frustrated and upset. And so I went on a little bit of a journey to work on unblocking some of my creativity and trying to tap back into some of the reasons that I got into art in the first place. So I'm going to go over a few of the things that I did with you guys in this video in the hopes that it may help you. So the first thing that I did was I took a huge break from social media. So I didn't really go on Twitter or Facebook. I took a break from YouTube. The only thing that I went on was Instagram, and that was only to post Instagram stories for the most part, and sometimes to share a little sketch that I did. For the most part, I really stayed off social media. And the reason for that was that I kind of needed to take a step back from the internet world and take a step into the real world. Not that the internet isn't the real world, but I just feel like for me especially, it's just really easy to get all caught up in all of that like online stuff and social media stuff, and it can get really competitive. You can start comparing yourself to others in a really negative way. And I've just ended up finding myself like being so inundated with news and just negative stuff that's been happening recently that I just needed to take a step back and focus on myself for a while. And I found it really helpful to just take some time away from all of the noise and focus on me. And going along with that, the second thing that helped me break out of art block was to set goals. So I knew that I wanted to come back to YouTube. I kind of had a vision in my head of what I wanted my life to be like. So I started figuring out what it was that I was trying to accomplish with art, what I want to do. Do I want to be a YouTuber? Do I want to be a freelance artist? Do I want to keep, working full time at my job? Do I want some sort of combination of the both? And, I had to sit down and figure out where I was going and what I was being called towards. And that was really helpful for me. So setting goals gave me something to strive towards so that I wasn't just kind of like moving with no direction. So I figured out, I want to be back to YouTube by May, or end of April, beginning of May, which ended up being a little longer than expected, but it did work out. So after I took my break from social media and set my goals, I decided to change my environment, and along with that, I also changed up my sketchbook for a little bit, and I found both of these things are really, really helpful. So I went outside the country. I understand that this is something that not everyone can afford to do. This is definitely something that I'm privileged to be able to do. I was able to save up some money and take a trip to Amsterdam and Italy, which was so wonderful and so inspiring for me to just be around new cultures and see new things. And even if you can't get out of the country or even out of the state, if you can just get out of your town or even go to a place that you've just never been before, a new coffee shop, a new park, like get out of your comfort zone and go someplace new. Go someplace that's going to inspire you visually. If you live in the city, maybe drive a couple hours out of the city if that's possible and go look at some nature. If you live in the, in a rural area, then, if you can take a day trip into the city or something that can change your environment and give you some more creative inspiration to draw off of. And along with that, I also changed up my sketchbook a little bit. So I switched for quite some time to and I'm still using them, to some handmade bullet journal, like traveler's journal inserts. And I switched to these for a lot of reasons, but primarily because they were a lot smaller and a lot less stress for me to complete, not even complete, for me to draw in. I was just so worried about wasting paper and messing up my sketchbook and creating something that wasn't beautiful, and then I'd show it on the internet and people would be like, oh, you suck at art because you have one bad sketch in your sketchbook, and that's really stupid. Because your sketchbook isn't about creating perfect things, it's just about practicing. So changing my sketchbook to be something that was a little bit less precious, that really helped with that, and now I'm able to go back to my old sketchbook with a little bit more of a free-flowing kind of ability, I guess. So the fourth thing going along with that is to care less. And this is definitely the one that is easier said than done, but I've been fighting with myself so much to care less. And what I mean by that is I used to not make art if I didn't think it would turn out well. And if I didn't think a piece was turning out well, I would just stop. And if I thought something was off to a bad start, I would erase it and start again. And if I didn't think I had the technical ability to complete a piece or an idea, I wouldn't do it. And that's really bad for your creative development and for your creative growth. You have to take risks, and you have to make bad art, and you have to be willing to make more bad art than you make good art sometimes. And one of the biggest ways to be able to do that is to just actively care less. And this is a challenge. It's something that I have to tell myself as I'm drawing. I'll be drawing, I'll start noticing myself getting tense in my shoulders, in my arms. I'll start getting stressed out. Oh, this isn't coming out right, whatever. And I have to actively tell myself, care less. If it doesn't turn out good, you don't have to put it on the internet. No one's forcing you to. Everyone makes bad art. You have to care less, because you're not going to improve unless you allow yourself to make mistakes, and you're not going to improve unless you allow yourself to practice. You cannot practice if everything is perfect the same time. You know what I mean? You have to make those mistakes so that you can learn from them. And then the last thing that really, really helped me was to create indulgent artwork and to experiment. I have all these ideas that I have been wanting to make for so long, including this one. This was something that I had the idea for a really long time ago, doing a lot of this stuff and these techniques and these ideas, and I've just never done it. I guess I just talked myself out of it, thinking that maybe I wasn't good enough or that I couldn't pull it off. I couldn't do it for a YouTube video, or I didn't have the time. But that's not a good reason to not make something that you want to make. I had to just make art for me. I had to get all these voices out of my head saying, don't draw pretty girls, or don't draw this, or don't draw that. If I want to draw a pretty girl, I'm going to draw a pretty girl. And if I want to draw something more than that, then I'm going to draw something more than that. Because it's my art, and I'm not making it for anyone else. And I'm not happy if I'm not making it for me, if I'm not making something that I like. And at the end of the day, I've noticed that when I make art that I really like, you guys like it way more as well. So be indulgent, make art for yourself. and experiment. Do the things that you've always wanted to do. I finally have a bunch of creative ideas, and for the first time, I'm not actually scared to make them. Sure, they might not turn out the way that I want them to, at least not the first time, or maybe even the second or third or fourth times. Things take time. New styles, new techniques, new ideas, they take time to figure out the way that you want them to be. But it's really good to experiment, and don't let your self-critic get in your own way. I feel like one of the biggest things about art block is just your self-critic getting in your own way, telling you that you can't do it. And when mine tells me that I can't do it, I don't tell it, yes, I can. I tell it, I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. So yeah, that's kind of the things that I used. They helped me a lot. There's a few other things that I did that I can definitely share with you in the future. If you'd like to see another part of this video, let me know. But these were definitely the most helpful things that I used to get out of my art block that like seriously, it was going on for like a solid year or so. And it was just really frustrating, and these techniques really helped me. So I hope that they helped you too. Huge shout out to Skillshare. Thanks again for sponsoring this video. I really appreciate it. Make sure you check the link in the description box for your free 2-month trial to Skillshare. And I hope that you guys liked this piece. I really enjoyed creating it, so I hope that you guys liked it as well. Thanks so much for watching. I love you so much. I will see you on Friday, and as always, have a great rest of your day. Bye guys!